Alright, let's talk about the future of work and why Mark Cuban's warning about AI might be the most important career advice you hear this year. Here's the thing. When a billionaire investor who's seen every tech boom and bust cycle says your job could be automated, you don't just shrug it off. But here's what I find fascinating. Cuban isn't painting a dystopian nightmare. He's challenging us to rethink what makes humans irreplaceable. Let's unpack this. So, Cuban calls out entry-level jobs with repetitive tasks first. On the surface, that feels obvious. AI can churn through data entry or basic customer queries faster than any newbie. But here's the twist I hadn't considered. This isn't just about losing jobs. It's about redefining how we climb career ladders. Think about it. 20 years ago, you'd start as a junior accountant, manually inputting numbers to learn the ropes. Now, that rung on the ladder is gone. AI forces us to ask, how do we train the next generation when the basics are automated? My take? The value shifts to critical thinking and creativity. If you're stuck in a role where your output could be summarized as yes/no decisions, you're not just at risk, you're already competing with a tool that never sleeps. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Junior software developers. Cuban's analogy comparing AI to hungover interns cracked me up, but it's deeper than that. He's pointing out that AI lacks contextual awareness. It can generate code, but doesn't grasp why a decision matters in the bigger picture. That made me realize something. Coding bootcamps teaching AI-first workflows might be missing the point. The real edge isn't fluency in Python or React. It's understanding when to override the AI's suggestion because you know the user's emotional journey. I'd argue this applies beyond tech. Every field will need human editors who can look at AI's output and say, this works, but here's the nuance it missed. Customer service roles are next. Cuban's right that AI can handle 80% of common queries, but here's where I disagree slightly. Humans will always be needed for crisis management. Imagine dealing with a bereaved customer or negotiating with an angry client. Those require emotional intelligence that algorithms can't fake, yet. What's interesting is how this creates a paradox. The soft skills we've historically dismissed as basic are suddenly premium skills. Empathy isn't just a buzzword anymore, it's your competitive advantage. The part that kept me up at night? Cuban's take on research and finance jobs. He distinguishes knowledge from information, which sounds academic until you realize this. AI can dump every study on climate change into a report, but it can't synthesize a strategy that balances data with political realities. That made me rethink my own work. When I use AI for video research, I'm not just collecting facts. I'm curating patterns, then adding my own lens. The danger isn't AI replacing researchers. It's researchers becoming too reliant on asking AI the same questions instead of daring to ask new ones. Here's the bigger picture I'm wrestling with. Cuban frames this as a skills gap problem, but I think it's a mindset shift. It's not about learning AI tools. It's about embracing a hybrid workflow where you're constantly asking, what can AI handle here so I can focus on the 20% that really moves the needle? The stats about big tech hiring fewer new grads? That's not just a warning, it's a blueprint. Companies aren't just cutting costs, they're optimizing for employees who can operate at 10x leverage. But let me play devil's advocate for a second. Is there a risk we're overestimating AI's capabilities here? Cuban's examples all assume current tech trajectories, but what if creativity turns out to be more uniquely human than we think? Or conversely, what if AI starts mimicking creativity well enough to undercut entire industries? That's why I'm doubling down on skills that combine technical fluency with storytelling, because explaining why something matters will always need a human touch, even if the what gets automated. So where does this leave us? Cuban's message isn't scary. It's empowering, if you're willing to adapt. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Adaptation isn't just about taking a Coursera course. It's about retraining your brain to focus on synthesis over repetition. The next time you're faced with a task, ask yourself, is this something AI could do in 2024? If yes, don't automate your job, reinvent it. Because the future doesn't belong to people who resist AI. It belongs to those who ask, how can I use this to build something no machine would ever imagine? What do you think? Are there jobs on Cuban's list you believe are safer than they seem? Or did I miss a bigger trend here? Let's debate it in the comments, because figuring this out together might just be the most human and future-proof thing we can do.